After reading the Laramie Project, I noticed I found it very interesting how the theater group made an effort to talk to many of the religious leaders that were in the town of Laramie. Since in the West, with the Mormons being a huge faction, it was interesting to hear all of their differing opinions on homosexuality and the degree of what they felt about homosexuality. I thought this was really brought out with the juxtaposition of citizens' segments of interviews, like in writing the play. The values that I thought were being represented in this dramatic world were piety and education. So again, the aspect of religion in the interview process, there was usually a stark difference in opinion about homosexuality that can be seen between the citizens of Laramie that have a strong affiliation with the church versus the citizens that were affiliated with the university. Many of the religious citizens were mentioning how they didn't agree with Matt's lifestyle choices, and the students of the university were more open-minded and concerned that something so ugly had happened in their town. Something I circled when reading the play that I didn't understand and I did further research was the mentioning of Reverend Fred Phelps showing up at the funeral service. And I didn't quite understand the degree of the references. And then I found out more that he is a founder of the Westboro Baptist Church, which is one of the most notorious hate groups in America. And according to Wikipedia, he and his followers protested at many funerals, not just Matthew's, and have been seen protesting many live performances of the Laramie Project, which was pretty interesting. The town of Laramie, some citizens describe Laramie as homey and small, and they enjoy running into everyone they know, whereas others thought this was the downside of Laramie, which was normally the minority groups felt that they have been singled out in Laramie's social relationships. And this shows that the minorities needed more support because of how they felt. Tolerating these differences led to such an ugly occurrence in the town instead of actually accepting the citizens for who they were. Examples of elements that set it apart from intimate apparel were having different moments on stage. They both had moments, but the Laramie Project had much shorter, choppier segments from the interviews that could be strategically placed and segmented so that it would really prove a point. They also utilized characters to be prompted with specific information because of the interviewing, and this led, you knew exactly what the characters' motives were, what they felt, whereas in Intimate Apparel it was more of an interpretation. Including the journal entries in Tectonic Theater Group members also added another layer to the Laramie Project that Intimate Apparel didn't have, and this allowed for the audience to sort of know how they should react to segments of the interviews. And then my two questions that I have about the play were, do you think any of the characters that were interviewed are embarrassed about their responses if they look back on it, especially Shannon and Jen, Aaron McKinney's friends? And then my second question is, almost 20 years later, do you think Laramie is still aware of accepting all of their citizens like they seem to be immediately after the event?